How's it going, my fellow escapists? It's your boy Cypress, and welcome back to another video covering my game concept, where today we'll be taking a look at what I have gotten done in the past 2 weeks for my new game called FLO. Boy, let me tell you how the past 2 weeks have been juicy. I spent a lot of quality time coding and figuring out ways to improve the experience of the gameplay of my game from the ground up. I'm focusing on core mechanics, and I'm getting my more complex systems working together. And once I get those mechanics working together, it'll be simple to build a game environment around them. So before I get into all the nitty-gritty details of just how lit the past 2 weeks have been, I'm gonna have to remind you to hit that sub button, you feel me? And leave a like so I know you like to see what I've got going on with my game. Now let's get right to business. Knockup physics. Let me tell you how I got my knockup system to a point where I believe it's now very playable and not very buggy at all, and is therefore comparable to Smash Ultimate. Like, it's actually starting to get to that level of ingenuity and complexity. Emphasis on starting. It's getting ever closer to that Devil May Cry plush Genshin Impact vibe I'm going for. If you guys remember before, I didn't even have knockup implemented. I only had knockback, and the enemy just stuck to the ground and slid with the force of the direction of the attack that it was hit by, which is fine. Demo! In order to add much more dynamicry to the combat experience, I wanted knock-up physics. And let me tell you how implementing knockup was not easy. I did some research on the internet and consulted many developers that I'm in contact with, who all at first told me that knockup physics, like you see in Devil May Cry, have nothing to do with physics, and had everything to do with linearly interpolating the enemy over a curve, which simply means to move the enemy's body along the shape of a curve. So I took that route before looking at how to do it with Unity physics. At first, it seemed to be a very promising strategy once I learned about animation curves, because I could get the enemy to travel over an adjustable curve, but I had a lot of issues with getting the movement to look smooth and natural, like actual knockback in physics, like in Smash Bros. The whole process became really complex, but after searching for some more help on the internet, I came across a Redditor who had actually done what I was trying to do in terms of smooth Super Smash Bros. Like knockback. That Redditor basically told me that I was crazy and just used physics. So I looked at the game he made, link in the description below, and I started thinking critically about how to reproduce the logic that he had conceptualized for me. And then boom! I went from this to this. I essentially transferred damage and knockback values to the enemy upon hit, and a script on the enemy applied those values to some code that moved the enemy across a trajectory with those values using Unity rigid body physics. And by adjusting the physics code with things like weight and gravity, I effectively 100x the quality of my knockback system. And so now I'm in a situation where my attacks are capable of doing just knockback, or they can knock up the enemy too for some cool flashy combo action. Now we're on to the next step. My next video is going to cover more quality of life changes, like the changes that I'm making to the auto targeting system and the camera movement. The goal is Genshin Impact Bros. Please leave a like, a subscribe, and a comment. Let me know if you feel like you'd enjoy hitting this gauntlet around with some knockback physics. Hope you guys enjoyed this update. Peace!